I woke up screaming. Not because of a dream. Not because of pain. But because my pillow was covered in hair. Before I continue, please pause for a moment. If you love emotional, shocking family stories that reveal hidden truths and unexpected twists, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss stories like this. Also, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I want to know who is here with me. Now listen carefully. I sat up in bed, my heart racing. My hands shook as I touched my head. There was nothing there. No hair. No strands. No patches. Just smooth skin. I rushed to the mirror. And that was when my legs almost gave out. I was bald. Completely bald. On my son's wedding day. I stared at my reflection, my mouth open, my eyes wide with fear. I touched my head again and again, hoping it was a joke. Hoping I was still dreaming. But it was real. My hair was gone. My chest tightened. My breath came fast and shallow. I whispered, "No, no, no," like saying it enough times would bring my hair back. This was not just about looks. This was about humiliation. About standing in front of hundreds of people. About photos that would last forever. About whispers. Stares. Laughter. I had gone to bed the night before with my hair neatly wrapped, ready for the big day. I was supposed to wear a beautiful outfit. I was supposed to smile proudly beside my son. Instead, I looked like someone who had been punished. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. I was too busy panicking. I tried to calm myself. Maybe it was stress. Maybe it would grow back. Maybe I could cover it with a scarf or wig. Then my phone buzzed again. This time, I looked. It was a message. From my daughter-in-law. My heart dropped. I opened it with trembling fingers. And what I read made my blood run cold. The message said, "I hope you understand why this had to happen. Today is about me." I read it once. Then again. Then slowly, word by word. My knees gave out, and I sank onto the bed. This had to happen. My mind raced. What did she mean by that? What had she done? And why now? Another message came in before I could even think. "Please don't cause drama today. Just stay calm and cooperate." Cooperate. My head spun. This was not an accident. This was not stress. This was planned. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the phone. My heart felt like it was breaking into pieces. I whispered, "What did you do to me?" But there was no answer. Outside, I could already hear movement. People waking up. Cars arriving. The wedding preparations had begun. And there I was. Bald. Shaking. And holding a message that told me this nightmare was no mistake. I looked at my reflection one more time. And in that moment, I realized something terrible. This wedding day was never meant to include me with dignity. And whatever my daughter-in-law had done was only the beginning. Because what I would discover next would shock me even more. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, holding my phone like it might burn my hands. The room felt too quiet, too clean, too normal for what had just happened to me. I read the message again. "I hope you understand why this had to happen. Today is about me." My heart beat hard against my chest. This had to happen. Those words kept repeating in my head. I stood up slowly and walked back to the mirror. I touched my head again, gently this time. The skin felt smooth and cold under my fingers. No pain. No cuts. Just gone. "How?" I whispered. I had no sickness. No condition. No reason to lose my hair overnight. And then I remembered something. The tea. Last night, she had brought me tea. She knocked on my door with a smile and said, "I know you're nervous about tomorrow. This will help you sleep." I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? She was about to become my daughter-in-law. I had thanked her. I drank every drop. Now my stomach turned. I grabbed my phone and typed a message with shaking fingers. What did you do to me? The message showed as delivered. No reply. I waited. Seconds felt like minutes. Then my phone buzzed. But it wasn't her. It was my son. Good morning. Big day today, smiling face with smiling eyes. Are you ready? Tears filled my eyes. Ready. How could I tell him? How could I ruin his wedding morning with this horror? I typed slowly. Can you come to my room? Please. Almost immediately, he replied. I'm busy with preparations. Is everything okay? I stared at the screen. Everything was not okay. But how do you explain something like this in a text? I typed back. I need to see you. It's important. There was a pause. Then. I'll come later. Try to rest. Later. Always later. I lowered the phone and felt something heavy settle in my chest. I was alone. I wrapped a scarf around my head and sat back on the bed. My hands were cold. My thoughts were loud. Why would she do this? I searched my memory, looking for signs I might have ignored. There were small things. The way she corrected me in front of others. The way she smiled but never looked me in the eyes. The way she once said, laughing, "You know, weddings are stressful when there are too many opinions." Too many opinions. Too many people. Too many mothers. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was her. My heart jumped. I opened the message. Please don't make this difficult. Just wear a head covering. People will understand. Understand what? That I suddenly went bald overnight? That this was normal? That I should quietly accept humiliation on my son's wedding day? I typed back, anger rising in my chest. You did this. Why? The reply came quickly this time. You always want attention. Today is not about you. That message hurt more than the hair loss. Attention. I had stayed quiet for months. I had stepped back. I had let her plan everything. And this was my reward. My hands shook as I typed. You hurt me. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then her reply came. Please don't start drama. If you love your son, you'll cooperate. Cooperate. That word again. I felt sick. So this was a test. Stay quiet and suffer. Or speak up and be blamed. I heard footsteps outside my door. Laughter. Voices. The wedding day was moving forward, with or without me. I looked at myself in the mirror again. The scarf hid my head, but not my pain. In that moment, I realized something frightening. This wasn't just about hair. This was about control. And if I stayed silent now, I might lose more than my dignity. I might lose my son. Just then, there was a knock on my door. My heart jumped. I whispered, "Who is it?" A voice answered from the other side. "We need to talk. Now." And the way that voice sounded told me one thing clearly. Whatever was coming next would change this wedding forever. My heart was beating so fast I thought I might faint. "We need to talk. Now." I recognized the voice. It was her. I stood frozen in the middle of the room, my hand still resting on my covered head. For a moment, I considered pretending I wasn't there. Pretending I hadn't heard anything. But the knock came again. Firm. Sharp. Impatient. I walked slowly to the door and opened it. She stood there, perfectly dressed, her makeup flawless, her hair styled beautifully for the big day. She looked calm. Confident. In control. Her eyes went straight to my head. The scarf. She smiled slightly. "I see you found a solution," she said. My chest tightened. "You did this," I said quietly. She stepped inside without waiting for permission and closed the door behind her. "We don't have time for this," she replied. "The makeup artist will be here soon." I stared at her, my hands shaking. Why? I asked. Why would you do something like this to me? She sighed like I was being difficult. You stress me out, she said. You always have. You make everything about yourself. I felt like I had been slapped. I stayed out of the planning, I said. I didn't interfere. I didn't complain. She waved her hand. Your presence is enough. You don't even realize how much space you take. Space. I looked at her in disbelief. I am his mother, I said. And I'm his wife, she replied sharply. As of today. The words hung in the air like a threat. I didn't want you standing next to us looking distracting, she continued. People ask questions. They stare. They compare. I whispered. So you took my hair? She didn't deny it. I needed today to be perfect, she said. I needed control. Control. My knees felt weak. You drugged me, I said, my voice breaking. You poisoned me. She rolled her eyes. Don't be dramatic. It was harmless. Temporary. Temporary? You took something from me without my consent, I said. On my son's wedding day. She crossed her arms. If you make a scene, you'll ruin everything. And he will never forgive you. That was the moment I understood. This wasn't just cruelty. This was strategy. She stepped closer and lowered her voice. Wear the scarf. Smile. Say nothing, she said. After today, you can do whatever you want. I felt tears burn my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. You think he won't notice? I asked. She smiled again. He's busy. And men don't notice details. I thought of my son. His excitement. His happiness. Would telling him the truth break his heart? Would staying silent break mine? Before I could answer myself, my phone buzzed. A message. From my son. I'm coming to get you for photos. My heart dropped. Photos. I looked at her. You planned this, I said. She nodded. Of course. I felt trapped. If I spoke now, I would be accused of ruining the wedding. If I stayed silent, I would be erased. She turned toward the door. Fix yourself, she said. We're running out of time. She opened the door, then paused. Oh, she added casually, and don't try to tell anyone. No one will believe you. Then she left. I stood there shaking. My reflection in the mirror looked like a stranger. A woman covered and cornered. A woman being pushed out of her own child's life one quiet step at a time. I sat down on the bed and pressed my hands to my face. What should a mother do in a moment like this? Protect her child's happiness? Or protect her own dignity? Before I could decide, the door opened again. This time, it wasn't her. It was my son. And the look on his face told me something was already wrong. Because he was staring at my head. And slowly realizing that something terrible had happened to me. My son stood in the doorway, staring at me. Not at my face. At my head. The scarf. His smile faded slowly, like someone turning down a light. Why are you wearing that? He asked. I opened my mouth. No sound came out. Behind him, the hallway was full of movement. Laughter. Voices. Footsteps. The wedding day was alive and loud, while my room felt small and heavy. I felt cold, I said finally. It was a lie. And he knew it. He stepped closer. You never wear scarves inside. I swallowed hard. He reached out gently, like he was afraid of hurting me. His fingers touched the edge of the scarf. My heart started pounding. Please don't, I whispered. He froze. Why? He asked softly. My eyes filled with tears. I turned my face away. Something is wrong, he said. Tell me. I wanted to. God knows I wanted to. But then I heard her voice outside the room. Are you ready? We're already behind schedule. Her tone was sweet. Too sweet. My son looked toward the door, then back at me. What's going on? He asked again, firmer this time. I took a deep breath. I woke up like this, I said quietly. Like what? He asked. I closed my eyes. Bald. The word felt heavy when it left my mouth. He stared at me. What? He said, confused. I woke up this morning, I continued, my voice shaking, and my hair was gone. All of it. He laughed once, nervously. That's not funny. I'm not joking, I said. Silence fell between us. Slowly, carefully, he reached for the scarf again. I didn't stop him this time. He lifted it. And froze. His hand dropped. His face changed in a way I had never seen before. Shock. Confusion. Fear. Mom, he whispered. I nodded, tears rolling down my cheeks now. I went to sleep with hair. I woke up like this. He stepped back like the floor had moved. That's not possible, he said. I know, I replied. But it happened. Footsteps came closer. Her shadow appeared at the door. What's taking so long? She asked. My son turned to her slowly. Did you know about this? He asked. She smiled, light and calm. Know about what? He pointed at my head. Her eyes flicked there for just a second. Then back to his face. Oh, she said. That. Like it was nothing. What do you mean, that? He asked. She sighed. She's overreacting. It's probably stress. Hair falls out sometimes. All of it, he snapped. She shrugged. These things happen. I looked at her, my heart pounding. You brought me tea last night, I said. She turned to me, her smile tight. Yes. To help you sleep. My son looked between us. Did you give her something? He asked slowly. Her smile disappeared. Why would you even ask that? She said, offended. On our wedding day? I could see the conflict in his eyes. Confusion pulling him one way. Love pulling him another. She stepped closer to him and touched his arm. Don't let this ruin today, she said softly. We can talk about this later. Later. Always later. He looked at me again. My bald head. My shaking hands. My tears. Then he looked at her. Did you do this? He asked. Her eyes hardened. Choose your words carefully, she said. People are waiting. I felt something break inside me. This was the moment. If I stayed silent now, the truth would die here. If I spoke, everything would explode. I opened my mouth. And before I could say anything, she leaned close to him and whispered something I couldn't hear. His face changed instantly. And whatever she said made him turn away from me. That was when I knew. This wedding was no longer just about love. It was about power. And I was standing right in the middle of it. Not knowing yet that the next thing to happen would shock everyone in that house. My son stepped away from me. Not fast. Not angry. Just one slow step back. And that hurt more than any shout ever could. I watched his face carefully, trying to understand what she had whispered to him. His eyes no longer held only shock. There was doubt now. Confusion mixed with pressure. The kind of pressure that comes when someone feels pulled in two directions and doesn't know which one will cost less. What did she say to you? I asked quietly. He didn't answer. She straightened her dress and spoke first. I told him the truth, she said calmly. That you've been under a lot of stress. That you've been emotional lately. Emotional. That word again. My son rubbed his face with both hands. Mom, have you been feeling okay recently? The question landed like a slap. I woke up bald, I said. Do I look okay? He flinched. I know this is shocking, he said carefully, but today is already so intense. Maybe this isn't the right time to jump to conclusions. Jump to conclusions? I felt my chest tighten. You saw my head, I said. You heard me. You saw the message she sent me. He looked away. I didn't see the message, he said. My heart skipped. What? She said you misunderstood, he replied. That she was only asking you to stay calm today. I stared at her. You deleted it, I whispered. She didn't deny it. I cleaned things up, she said smoothly. To avoid confusion. Confusion. My son looked back at me, torn. Mom, he said softly, did you take anything unusual last night? That was it. That was the moment my heart truly broke. You think I did this to myself? I asked. No, he said quickly. I'm just trying to understand. I drank the tea she gave me, I said. That's all. She laughed lightly. Tea doesn't make people bald. I looked at my son. Neither does sleep, I said. But here we are. Silence filled the room. Outside, music started playing softly. Someone laughed loudly. The wedding was moving forward, like nothing was wrong. She checked her phone. We're late, she said. People are already asking where you are. She turned to me. Please, she added, her voice low and sharp, don't embarrass us. Embarrass. As if I hadn't already been stripped of dignity. My son sighed. Mom, maybe you should stay in the room for now. Stay in the room. On his wedding day. I felt my legs weaken. You don't want me there? I asked. That's not what I said, he replied quickly. Just until we figure this out. Figure what out? The damage was already done. She stepped closer to me and lowered her voice so only I could hear. You see, she whispered. No one believes you. I looked at her, really looked at her. And in that moment, I understood something terrifying. She didn't just want control over the wedding. She wanted control over him. And I was in the way. I took a deep breath. I need to see a doctor, I said. Now. She shook her head immediately. Absolutely not. Today is not the day. My son hesitated. Maybe after the ceremony. After. Always after. I felt something rise in my chest. Not anger. Clarity. If I don't go now, I said firmly, I will not sit quietly and smile. She stiffened. You wouldn't dare, she said. I looked at my son. I am your mother, I said. And something was done to me without my consent. He swallowed hard. I need time, he said. Time. I nodded slowly. Then take it, I said. But understand this. I met his eyes. If you choose silence today, you choose it forever. His breath caught. Before either of them could respond, there was a loud knock at the door. Not gentle. Not polite. Urgent. We all froze. A voice called out from the hallway. Is everything okay in there? I recognized the voice. It wasn't family. It wasn't wedding staff. It was someone official. My heart started pounding. She turned pale. My son looked between us, confused and scared. I walked toward the door. Because whatever was waiting outside was about to pull this truth into the open. And once that happened, there would be no more whispers. The knocking came again. Louder this time. Is everything okay in there? No one answered. I could feel the tension in the room like thick smoke. My son stood frozen, his eyes moving from me to her. She looked pale now, her confidence cracking for the first time since she walked into my room. I'll handle this, she said quickly, stepping toward the door. I moved faster. No, I said firmly. I will. My hand was already on the door handle. She grabbed my arm. Don't, she whispered sharply. You're going to ruin everything. I looked at her hand on my arm. Then I looked at her face. You already did, I said. I opened the door. Two people stood in the hallway. One was a hotel staff member, looking nervous. The other was a woman holding a small notebook and an ID clipped to her jacket. "Good morning," the woman said calmly. "We received a call expressing concern about a guest." Her eyes moved to my head, the scarf, then to my face, my tears. Her expression changed. "Are you all right?" she asked gently. Before I could answer, she stepped forward. "She's fine," she said quickly. "Just overwhelmed. Weddings are emotional." The woman with the notebook didn't look at her. She looked at me. "Is that true?" she asked. I hesitated. My son's eyes pleaded with me. Silent. Desperate. This was the moment I had feared all morning. If I spoke, the wedding might stop. If I stayed silent, I would disappear. I took a deep breath. "No," I said quietly. "That's not true." The hallway went silent. "What's going on?" my son asked, his voice shaking. The woman nodded and spoke gently. "We were told there may have been a medical issue." "I woke up bald," I said. "I went to sleep with hair. I woke up without it." The staff member's eyes widened. "That doesn't just happen," the woman said carefully. "No," I replied. "It doesn't." She turned to her. "She's making accusations," she snapped. "This is ridiculous." The woman held up her hand. "Let's slow down." She looked back at me. "Did you consume anything unusual last night?" "Yes," I said. "Tea. Given to me." Her head snapped toward me. "That's a lie." My son looked at her sharply. "You did bring her tea." She forced a smile. "To help her sleep." The woman wrote something down. "Do you have the cup?" she asked. My heart skipped. "Yes," I said. "It's still in the room." Her smile vanished completely. The woman nodded. "May I see it?" She stepped back instinctively. "This is insane. We're getting married in an hour." My son looked torn, his face pale. "Please," I said softly. "Just let them look." He swallowed hard. "Okay." The woman followed me into the room. I pointed to the small table beside the bed. The cup was still there, half rinsed, forgotten in the chaos. She examined it carefully. "Did you feel unwell after drinking it?" she asked. "I slept deeply," I said. "Too deeply. I didn't wake up once." She wrote again. Behind us, I could hear raised voices in the hallway. Family members were starting to notice. Whispers spread fast on wedding mornings. "This is getting out of control," she hissed at my son. "You need to stop this." He didn't answer. The woman with the notebook turned to her. "Ma'am," she said calmly, "I need you to step back." Her eyes flashed. "You have no right." "I do," the woman replied. "When there's a concern of harm." Harm. The word hung in the air. My son's face went white. "Harm," he repeated. The woman nodded. "We're not making conclusions. We're asking questions." She turned to me again. "Did you receive any messages this morning?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "From whom?" "From her." I held up my phone. Her breath caught. "No," she said sharply. "You're not showing anyone my messages." The woman looked at her calmly. "If you have nothing to hide, there's no reason to panic." My son stared at her. "Did you message my mother?" he asked. She didn't answer. I unlocked my phone. My hands were shaking now, but I didn't stop. I showed the woman the message. "I hope you understand why this had to happen. Today is about me." The woman read it slowly. Then she read it again. My son leaned in and read it too. His face changed completely. "What does this mean?" he asked her. She opened her mouth, closed it, then snapped. "She's twisting things." The woman with the notebook closed it softly. "I'm going to need both of you to step outside," she said. My son looked at me, panic in his eyes. "I didn't know," he whispered. I nodded. "I know." As they stepped into the hallway, voices grew louder. Someone asked what was happening. Someone else said the ceremony was being delayed. I sat down heavily on the bed. My head felt light. My body felt weak. The woman returned and sat across from me. "You did the right thing," she said quietly. I nodded, tears finally falling. "I didn't want to ruin his day," I whispered. She met my eyes. "You didn't. Someone else did." Outside, I could hear arguing now. Sharp voices. Crying. Confusion. The wedding was no longer moving forward smoothly. And deep down, I knew something terrible and unavoidable was happening. This wasn't just about hair anymore. This was about truth. And once truth steps into a room like this, nothing stays standing the way it was before. The noise in the hallway grew louder. Voices overlapped. Questions flew. Footsteps rushed back and forth. The wedding morning had turned into something else entirely. I sat on the edge of the bed, my hands folded tightly in my lap, trying to steady my breathing. My head felt cold where the scarf no longer covered it. I didn't bother fixing it anymore. Hiding felt pointless now. The woman with the notebook stayed close to me. "You're safe," she said quietly. "Just stay here for now." Safe. The word felt strange. Outside, I heard my son's voice rise for the first time. "What do you mean you need to ask more questions?" he said sharply. "This is our wedding day." Another voice answered calmly. "Sir, please lower your voice." Then her voice cut through everything. "This is ridiculous," she shouted. "She's ruining my wedding." My heart clenched. I closed my eyes. I never wanted this. I never wanted attention. I never wanted drama. I never wanted control. I just wanted my hair, my dignity, my place as a mother. The door opened again. My son stepped inside. He looked different now. Not like a groom. Like a boy who had just realized something precious was slipping through his fingers. He closed the door behind him and leaned against it. "Mom," he said softly. I looked up at him. His eyes were red. "I didn't know," he said again. "I swear I didn't." I nodded slowly. "I believe you." He swallowed hard. "She told me you were stressed," he continued. "That you were imagining things. That you always needed attention." The words hurt, but I didn't react. "I should have listened to you," he said. "I should have seen it." I reached out and touched his hand. "You were pulled in two directions," I said. "I understand." He shook his head. "No. I chose the easier one." Silence filled the room. Then he asked the question I had been dreading. "Did she really send you that message?" I nodded. "I didn't delete it," I said. "I didn't change it." He closed his eyes. "She said you misunderstood," he whispered. "I didn't," I replied. He opened his eyes and looked at my head again. His voice broke. "Who does that to someone?" he asked. "Someone who wants control," I thought. But I didn't say it. Before I could speak, the door opened again. She stood there. Her makeup was smudged now. Her hair still perfect, but her eyes wild. "This needs to stop," she said, pointing at me. "She's lying. She's jealous. She wants to ruin my day." My son turned to her slowly. "Did you give her something last night?" he asked. She froze. "Answer me," he said. She laughed nervously. "Of course not. Don't be stupid." The woman with the notebook stepped forward. "Ma'am," she said calmly, "we need you to answer directly." Her voice rose. "I don't have to answer anything. This is harassment." My son stepped between us. "Did you send her that message?" he asked again. She looked at him. Then at everyone else watching from the hallway. Then she said quietly, "I was angry." The room went still. I didn't think it would do that, she continued. I just wanted her to stay out of the spotlight. My son stared at her in disbelief. You wanted my mother to disappear, he said. She snapped back. I wanted our day to be perfect. At her expense? He asked. She said nothing. The woman with the notebook wrote quickly. Ma'am, she said, we will need to continue this conversation elsewhere. What about the wedding? She shouted. No one answered. My son turned to me. I'm so sorry, he said, his voice shaking. I failed you today. Tears filled my eyes. You didn't fail me, I said softly. You were tested. He took a deep breath. I don't know what to do, he admitted. I looked at him. Do what's right, I said. Even if it hurts. He nodded slowly. Outside, someone announced that the ceremony was delayed. Gasps followed. Whispers grew louder. The perfect wedding day was unraveling. And deep down, I knew something else was coming. Because when the truth comes out this clearly, it never stops halfway. And the next decision my son would make would change all of our lives forever. The hallway felt like a courtroom now. People stood in small groups, whispering. Some avoided eye contact. Others stared openly. Phones were out. Messages were being typed. Whatever was happening was no longer private. The woman with the notebook asked everyone to give space. Slowly, the hallway cleared. My son stayed beside me. He did not let go of my hand. That small act told me everything. She's saying it was a mistake, he said quietly. That she didn't know it would cause harm. I looked at him. Some mistakes begin with intention, I replied. He nodded slowly. From the other side of the hallway, I could hear raised voices again. Her voice. Sharp. Defensive. I didn't poison anyone, she shouted. This is being blown out of proportion. The word poison made my stomach turn. The woman with the notebook returned. We need to ask a few more questions, she said. Separately. She looked at my son. And we need your cooperation. He nodded. Whatever you need. She turned to me. Are you feeling dizzy? Weak? Nauseous? Yes, I answered honestly. And scared. She gave a small nod. We're arranging for a medical check, she said. Just to be safe. My son's eyes widened. A hospital? Possibly, she replied. We won't take risks. I felt a wave of emotion crash over me. A hospital, on my son's wedding day. I had imagined this day so differently. She was escorted down the hallway by another official. She was crying now. Loudly. Telling anyone who would listen that she was being attacked. That she was the victim. My son watched her go, his face tight. I never saw this side of her, he said. People reveal themselves when they feel threatened, I replied. A doctor arrived shortly after. Calm. Professional. He asked me questions, checked my pulse, my eyes, my balance. Did you ingest anything unusual? He asked. Yes, I said. Tea. My son clenched his jaw. The doctor nodded. We'll need to run tests. The word tests echoed in my head. What does that mean? My son asked. It means we don't assume, the doctor replied. We confirm. I was guided to sit down again. As I did, I noticed something. The wedding decorations. The flowers. The music playing softly in the background. Everything looked wrong now. Like a beautiful picture with a crack running straight through it. My son sat beside me, his head in his hands. I wanted today to be perfect, he whispered. I placed my hand on his arm. Perfect days don't exist, I said gently. Only honest ones. He looked up at me. Did you think I would choose her? He asked quietly. I hesitated. Then I answered truthfully. I was afraid you might, I said. He nodded, tears filling his eyes. She put me in a position, he said. And I didn't push back. Until now, I replied. Before he could respond, the woman with the notebook returned. We've spoken with her, she said. There are inconsistencies. My heart skipped. What kind? My son asked. She admitted to adding something to the tea, the woman said carefully. She claims it was meant to calm nerves. My son stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly. You drugged my mother, he shouted. She held up a hand. We're still investigating. But you said she admitted it, he said. She admitted to adding something, the woman repeated. Not to knowing the outcome. My chest felt tight. So she knew she gave me something, I whispered. Yes, the woman replied. That much is clear. The hallway erupted again. Family members had heard. Someone gasped. Someone cried. Someone said, "Oh my God." The wedding coordinator rushed in, pale. What do we do? They asked. Guests are waiting. My son turned slowly and looked at the decorations. Then at me. Then back at the woman with the notebook. What happens next? He asked. She met his eyes. That depends on what you decide, she said. He frowned. Decide what? She spoke carefully. Whether this wedding continues today, or not. The words hit like thunder. The hallway went silent. Everyone turned to my son. I looked at him too. Because in that moment, I realized something important. This was no longer about hair, or humiliation, or even betrayal. This was about who he was willing to stand beside. And whatever choice he made next would define the rest of his life. He took a deep breath, opened his mouth, and before he could speak, someone shouted from the far end of the hallway. The test results are back. My heart stopped, because whatever those results showed would make the decision for him. The hallway went silent. Every sound seemed to disappear at once. No music, no whispers, no footsteps. Even the air felt heavy, like it was waiting. The test results are back. Those words echoed in my head. The doctor stepped forward, holding a folder. His face was serious. Not rushed. Not dramatic. Just calm in a way that scared me more than panic ever could. My son moved closer to me. What do they say? He asked, his voice shaking. The doctor looked at me first. Before I speak, he said gently, I need to ask how you're feeling right now. Tired, I replied. Cold. And scared. He nodded slowly. Then he turned to my son. The results show that something was added to the tea, he said. Something that does not belong there. A sharp gasp filled the hallway. My son's hand tightened around mine. What kind of something? He asked. The doctor took a breath. A substance that can cause sudden hair loss, he said. Extreme stress to the body. And deep, unnatural sleep. My knees felt weak. So it wasn't stress, my son whispered. No, the doctor replied firmly. This was not stress. The hallway exploded. People started talking all at once. She did this. Oh my God. That's dangerous. Someone began to cry. My son turned slowly, his face pale, his eyes burning. She knew, he said. She knew what she was doing. The woman with the notebook stepped forward again. This confirms intent, she said. At least in part. Intent. My son snapped. She poisoned my mother. The word poisoned made my chest tighten. The woman raised her hand gently. We're still careful with words. But yes, this was not an accident. I closed my eyes. The wedding I had prayed for. The joy I had imagined. All of it was gone. My son knelt in front of me suddenly, right there in the hallway. I'm so sorry, he said, tears falling freely now. I should have protected you. I touched his face. You didn't know, I said softly. But now you do. He nodded. I won't let this go, he said. Not ever. From the other end of the hallway, she was brought back in. Her face was different now. No confidence. No control. Just fear. They're lying, she said weakly. I didn't mean for this to happen. My son stood up slowly. You put something in her drink, he said. Without her knowing. I just wanted her calm, she cried. She makes me nervous. Nervous, he repeated. So you took her hair? Her dignity. She reached for him. He stepped back. Don't touch me, he said. The woman with the notebook spoke again. We need to ask you a few more questions, she said firmly. Somewhere private. What about the wedding? She shouted. You can't just cancel my wedding. My son turned to her. Our wedding? He asked quietly. She froze. He looked around at the guests, the decorations, the flowers, the music that had stopped playing. Then he looked back at me. His voice broke. Mom, can you forgive me? I held his hand. I already have, I said. But forgiveness doesn't erase truth. He nodded. The woman with the notebook looked at him. You need to make a decision, she said. Now. He took a deep breath. The hallway was silent again. Everyone waited. I could feel my heart beating in my ears. Because I knew what was coming. And I also knew this. Whatever my son chose next would not just end the wedding. It would end a future. He opened his mouth to speak. And before the words came out, she screamed. If you walk away from me today, you'll regret it. My son didn't flinch. He looked at her, then at me. And finally, he said something so quiet. Only I could hear it. And that's where I'll stop. Because what he said next changed everything. He looked at me. Not at the crowd. Not at the decorations. Not at the woman crying and shouting behind him. At me. And in a voice so quiet it almost broke, he said, I choose you. For a moment, I thought I had imagined it. I choose my mother, he said again, louder this time. Because anyone who could do this to her could never love me. The hallway exploded. Gasps. Cries. Whispers turning into shock. She screamed his name, rushing toward him. But the woman with the notebook stepped in front of her. No, my son said firmly. This is over. You can't do this, she cried. You'll ruin everything. He shook his head slowly. You already did. The wedding coordinator stood frozen, not knowing what to say. Guests stared in disbelief. Phones were raised. The perfect wedding day had collapsed in front of everyone. My son walked back to me and knelt again. I was wrong, he said, tears streaming down his face. I let someone silence you. I let someone hurt you. And I will regret that for the rest of my life. I placed my hand on his head. You stood up when it mattered, I said softly. That's what counts. Medical staff helped me stand. As I walked down the hallway, people stepped aside. Some looked ashamed. Some looked stunned. Some looked at me with new respect. She was taken away, still shouting, still blaming everyone but herself. The wedding was officially cancelled. No music. No vows. No celebration. But something else happened that day. Something far more important. My son walked beside me, not ahead, not behind. Beside me. Later that evening, as we sat quietly in my room, he said something I will never forget. I thought becoming a husband meant leaving you behind, he said. I didn't realize it meant protecting you too. I smiled through my tears. Love doesn't erase, I said. It expands. My hair would grow back one day. But my dignity? It had already been restored. If this story moved you, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification bell for more powerful, true-to-life stories. Tell me in the comments. What would you have done? Stay silent or speak up. And remember this. A wedding lasts a day. But how you treat a mother lasts a lifetime. Thank you for listening.